This is the general training and asking questions. So note you've got 30 modules where you can find an impact for a client, and each module follows the same easy to follow system. Now there's going to be detailed training around each of these questions, but this training is a general overview of the questionnaire. So just another note, it's not necessary to actually go through the detailed training in each area to get started. You can get started with a client if you haven't gone through that, but you should become familiar with an aspect or one module before you ask a client or a prospect the questions in that module. So I'm going to click on credibility and expertise development. So note that we've shaded out the area to the left. And the one reason is if you've expanded all, this little toggle here, and you've expanded all, you can see some of the items down below: offer stack, ROI and closing script, objection handler. Perhaps you don't want your client to see that you have those at your disposal. So when you click the button, you can now feel free to share your screen if you want to. Some consultants feel more comfortable not sharing, and others prefer that the client looks over their shoulder. There's no right way to do this. It's only what you prefer. So let's just walk through each of these sections here. The top area is the name of the module. So this one is credibility and expertise development. This little video icon will show some in-depth training around this module specifically. You can also close it out using the X. This part is a short explanation of the purposes of these questions. And here is a short script, either that you can read to the client, or you might better familiarize yourself with this area. Now, there are 7 questions in each section that are based on a scale of 1 to 10. So to best ask these questions, you want to start with something like on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you can ask the question. So, at least until your client understands the pattern. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, rate the extent to which your business is recognized as a credible and authoritative entity in your industry. Now, to the right of each question, there's a small gold circle with a question mark in it. And when you click on it, it's going to look something like this. So what I've done for each question, if you ask a question, sometimes there's a risk that your client may not understand the concept of the question. So for that reason, we've provided this little feature which will allow you to give an example and then restate the question in another way to help provide increased clarity. Okay, so below here there is a slider bar. You see the unhappy face to the happy face. So scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is always the greatest. There's below here is a place for you to take some notes. And here's a little pro tip. If you ask for permission to record the session, maybe using a phone app if you're in person, or your screen recording if you're meeting on Google Meet or Zoom, then you can come back later at a later point and fill in the notes. And by doing so, you won't slow down the interview process. So now this here is a dynamic follow-up question. It's optional. You can ask it if you like, but it's a dynamic. So according to the response of your client, it may be necessary to ask that follow-up for greater clarity. And you're going to be served 3 different types of follow-up questions. If you have a 0 to 4, you'll get 1 type of question. Now, when you note, when I change this to 5, you'll see this question here will change. So 5, 6, and 7 will have a second type of follow-up question. And then 8, 9, and 10 have a third alternate. Again, you can take notes on that follow-up question. So at the end, these 7 questions are all the same, but you're going to go to question 8. And 8 is an opportunity for you to summarize the client's current overall effectiveness in the area. So we can see right now the average was an 8 out of 10. I only did that one section, that was an 8. So this is the average. And just simply confirm this with your client, and this number can also be changed if you like, if either of you feel that the number should be different. Now, question 9 is your impact question. And looking ahead, assuming we make some solid improvements in these areas, what kind of growth do you think we could see for your business over the next year? So here I might just put a 4%. Okay, I just enter the number 4. And of course you have maybe then an optional follow-up there. So your client may not know the number, and at this stage really it's only an estimate. For that reason, we encourage you to be very conservative. Now, numbers of 5% or less are normally much easier to achieve and often require little disruption to a company's current processes or systems. But for example, a company may have 10,000 visitors to a website every month. So it's okay to think small with these estimates. And the reality is that if you find 2% or 3% impact over 10 different areas, you may just help the business double their profits. And when you play around with the accelerator, all right, where you run the simulation here, when you play around with this accelerator, you'll get to see this very quickly.